Hey everybody, welcome back to Pam's Cutting Board. I'm so glad you was able to stop by my channel today. And today we are going to do what I consider kind of a fall dish. Is we're going to do some fried apples and we're going to do some homemade biscuits. Doesn't that sound good? That's actually going to be mine and Wayne's supper. We've had a busy day. And we're hungry, but we don't want to cook a whole lot. So I've got some apples that if I don't get to them right now, they're going to go to waste. So I'm going to go ahead and peel those. We're going to fry them, and we're going to make some homemade biscuits. So I'm going to turn you guys down. I'm going to show you how I peel my apples and get ready to fry them. All I can find on the bag is Michigan apples. So I'm not quite sure if that is what they're called or if that's where they come from. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not sure if they'll cook up whole or if they'll cook up into applesauce, but we're going to try and see. I've went ahead and washed them, and I'll peel one so you'll know how I peel them. These, see, they're kind of getting a little bit soft and a little bit brown. That's what I was saying. If I didn't go ahead and do them today, I probably would lose these. I've just got a little bitty paring knife. I cut the top off, and then I just go around as thinly as I can because I don't want to get a lot of the apple. I'm just wanting to get the peel off. You can leave the peel if you like, but I'm not a fan of the peel being in the apple. See there's a few more brown spots. And then I just go ahead and cut the apple in half. And then I cut it into quarters, and I just go on the end and just cut back, and that cleans out all that core. And then this, I'll get probably about 3 slices out of it. You could chunk them up or cut them thinner or thicker. That's how I do it. And let me see how many apples we've got. We got 9 apples. I think Wayne ate a few out of the bag, so that's what we got left. I'm going to pause you guys while I finish cutting all these. One thing I did forget to mention now, if you have a lot of apples that you're peeling, you may want to put some water in here and just let your apples soak in that water, just like you would potatoes, because potatoes, it turns dark, apples does too. But I'm going to quickly peel these and get them in the skillet, so I don't see a need to put water in them this time. So I'm going to pause you while I finish peeling these apples. Okay, we're back. I've moved you guys over to the stove. I've got my apples peeled, and I did rewash them. I just run water over them just to make sure if I had left any grit or anything on them, I've got that off. I'm just letting them drain a little bit because you don't want to put your wet apples, you know, where there's a lot of water into your frying pan, because that could splash back on you. So I'm just letting them drain a little bit. So I have trusty old cast iron. We're going to turn it on about medium high. Going to let our butter start to melt. And I always use the salted sweet cream butter. I very rarely buy the unsalted butter, and I do buy real butter. Maybe if they're out of the salted, I'll get the unsalted. But even bacon, I use the salted. And I'm going to use about a half a stick. And I just kind of guess my measurements. So, but I'm going to try to be a little more conscious of measuring through this, because I realize a lot of people do go by recipes, but where you make something for so many years and you're used to it, you just kind of measure with your eyeball it, I guess what they say. Instead of me standing here talking, let me turn you guys down so you can see what I'm doing. I forgot to do that, guys. And you didn't even remind me. It's getting kind of late in the evening. We've been busy all day. And Wayne was like, "We've not eaten supper." I said, "Yeah, I'm tired." He said, "Do you want me to make something?" I said, "You know what? Those apples are going to go to waste. Going to ruin if I don't do something with them. How about we just have some fried apples and fresh biscuits?" And that seemed to be okay to him. So it's late. We don't need a whole lot. This would be plenty. It's not. It's just not exactly light food. But in the fall, I think of apples and pumpkins and pumpkin pie spice and cinnamon, brown sugar, things like that. And all you're going to need for these apples is just some butter, of course your apples, some sugar, and some cinnamon. That's all I put in them. And if I were to put these in the freezer, I would fix them just like this, and then I would let them cool a little bit, put them in my freezer bags, and put them in the freezer. Okay, my butter's melted. Let's put our apples in. They've drained good. I'm going to start with about a half a cup of sugar. Then I'll taste them and see if I need any more. But the sugar is kind of to your taste. If you don't want them as sweet, don't put as much sugar. If you want more sweetness, but of course put more sugar. Might just start with a fourth cup and then build on it. I think I will. The apples, I did taste of the apples. They're sweet, but they've got just a tad of tartness to them. And I'm going to go with about a teaspoon of cinnamon, and this is to taste too. I mean, if you didn't like cinnamon, you wouldn't even have to put it in there. That's just something that we like. I'll taste them when they start to get sort of soft and see if I need to add more cinnamon and more sugar. So I'm just going to leave my cinnamon and my sugar out I'm going to get a lid and put on them. And in just a few minutes, I'll stir them and see if I need to adjust my temperature. We'll go from there. We're going to start making our biscuits. I'm going to turn my oven on about 450 degrees, and then we'll get everything together and start making our biscuits. Okay, I've moved you guys back over to the other side of the kitchen where we're going to start making our biscuits. These are going to be 2-ingredient biscuits, okay? In order for these to be 2-ingredient biscuits, you need to have self-rising flour. Otherwise, it's not going to work. If you use all-purpose and you don't add salt and baking powder to the all-purpose flour, then your biscuits will turn out just flat and tasteless. So make sure you have self-rising flour. If you don't, then you're going to have to add salt and baking powder, okay? This is self-rising. And I'm going to use 2 cups for the mix. You're going to have a little bit more to roll them out. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. So put your flour container up. You're going to need a little bit more. But there is your 2 cups of self-rising flour. Now my mama, she always sifted her flour. I don't. Not usually. Very rarely I do. But I do take a little whisk. I kind of stir it up just to kind of incorporate some air in that flour. Kind of get it all mixed up good. Okay. Now, we're not going to use any butter in the mix or any lard or any shortening or anything like that. We're going to use heavy whipping cream. And this is a pint. Let's see how much we use, if we use it all or not. And sometimes the weather will depend on if you use more or less liquid or more or less flour. So these measurements, you know, they may not be 100% exact. You may have to add flour, a little more flour than I'm telling you. You may have to make them again. You may have to add a little more liquid. I did put about a tablespoon of butter in my skillet that I'm going to be putting my biscuits on. And I've got it in the oven while it's preheating so it'll melt and get my skillet hot. Okay, this is a cup. So let's pour all of that in there. That is good, rich, and thick. And I just stir it up. Okay, we're going to have to add a little bit more milk. So let's go, I don't know, maybe 1/4 cup. I'm going to pull my rings off too. I don't want all that flour in my rings. I'll have to, a little bit more. So that's got us up to 1.5 cups of heavy whipping cream. And that may be enough. Yeah. So there's just the tiniest little bit. Let's see. That's probably another 1/4 cup. So you're probably going to use all of this with the exception of maybe a 1/4 cup. I'm going to pause you guys and I'm going to check on my apples. This dough is way too sticky for me to do anything with. I mean, you see there's no way you can roll it out. That is where your extra flour is going to come into play. We'll add extra flour and get it to where we can work the dough just a little bit. Don't want to overwork the dough, but you've got to work it just a little bit. Getting dough everywhere. My apples are looking good. They're going to break apart. Those apples is going to turn into applesauce. Some apples you cook, they stay whole. Just how you slice them, that's how they're going to be when you get them out of the skillet. But these, they're just breaking apart. Personally, I kind of like them to break apart and turn into applesauce, but some people don't. And it depends on the apples. And don't ask me which is which stays whole and which breaks apart, because I don't know. I guess you could probably Google that. Okay. So we've got our dough out. Let me rinse my hands. Didn't want to handle my flour cup and have dough all over it. So I sprinkle I got about probably 3/4 of a cup of flour out. And I sprinkle it all over it. And you saw me put some down on the cutting board. Then we just kind of press it out a little bit. This flour allows for you to handle it and not stick to your hands so much. And then what I do is I just fold it over. Then I turn it, press it out again. It's a little sticky, so I'll put me a little more flour. Then I'm going to fold it over. Turn it. Need a little more flour right here. It's starting to stick. Okay. We just keep repeating that. Fold. We're going to turn. And this doesn't need a lot of working. You know, a lot of kneading, just a little bit. And this, the way I'm folding, it's going to create the layers in the biscuits, is what this does. About through. We'll be ready to start cutting out some biscuits. Now, I'm just going to flatten this out, probably to about 1/4 of an inch. You can use a rolling pin if you want to. Sometimes I do. But I actually forgot to get it out. So, we're not going to use it today. Now we're going to get ready to start cutting some biscuits. It's about probably 1/4 inch thick. The thicker that you make your dough and cut it, the higher your biscuit is going to raise. I like a good thick biscuit. Okay, I'm going to place you on hold while I get my skillet out of the oven, and we're going to start cutting the biscuits out and putting in the skillet. Okay, while I was over there getting my skillet, I checked on my apples. They're done. I turned them down on low just to keep them hot. And the amount of cinnamon and sugar, just perfect for us. But again, if you want it more or less, you adjust it. Okay. This is a homemade biscuit cutter. It's a Vienna can, Vienna sausage can. I don't know how you say it, but we call them Viennas. I don't know the correct pronunciation. Whoa, about us, that biscuit. You see the layers? Can you see the layers? That's what that folding does. I poked a hole. I probably need to poke a few more holes in this just so it would help to relieve the biscuit. Sometimes it doesn't want to do a good job releasing, and you don't want to twist. That seals in the edges and it doesn't allow the biscuit to rise the way you want it. At the end of this, I'm going to add a little clip of Wayne with a special guest star. His name is Kevin. Wayne used to coach him when he was a little boy, and the guy's dad, Kevin's dad, used to be Wayne's coach. And we were at the Friday night football game, and I said, Kevin, hop over there and let's do a video with Wayne. So he hopped over there. Wayne introduced him and said a few words, but good guy. He has great parents. Try to make room so I can get them all in this one pan. I think I'm going to do it. When it gets to where you can't get any more biscuits out of it, just squish it up. If you had to add a little more flour, you can. And then pat it out. And just make some more biscuits. Those layers are beautiful. Okay. This, I'm just going to roll this one out. That's all right. If you roll them, my mom done rolled biscuits. She never used a biscuit cutter. I like using a biscuit cutter, but you know, do what. Let's see. I saw a trick. I just thought about it. I'm gonna do it. They say if you put it in there, oh, it does come out as a ball. So then we just want to pat it down a little bit. I think this one's going to be a little thicker than the others, though. That's all right. There's nothing wrong with a thick biscuit. See if we can make room. They're squished in here. Okay. Look at that. That one looks like it's already had a bite out of it, but it's okay. So I'm going to put these in the oven at 450 degrees, and we'll see you back when these gets done, and we'll do the taste test. So you guys notice I got a new hairstyle. So I chopped it off, put me some blonde highlights. It's a lot easier fix for me. When I go to work, I always wash my hair in the mornings, and by the time I get out of the shower, get my clothes on, have my coffee, my hair's just about dry. Just need to blow dry it just a little bit. I got one of those blow dryers that has a curling brush right in it. I can do it all together. That's it. It's still long enough for me to pull back off of my face so I can put a hairnet on when I'm at work. So it works good. And then I can style it a little bit if I want to put a curling iron to it or something if I'm going to church. It's almost dark outside. So we're eating really late. But we do that a lot of times on the weekend. It's okay. But I want to turn you guys around, let you look at the apples, and let you look at the biscuits. I forgot to put the timer in. I never use a timer when I'm just fixing biscuits, because when they're good and brown, then I know they're done. But I realize a lot of people may need a certain amount of, they need more direction if they've never made biscuits. And sometimes the biscuits is difficult to make if you've not done it in a while or a long time. And biscuits is something that I won't say they're difficult to do if you've never done them, but you have to have a little bit of experience. When I first made them, I was trying to make them exactly like Mom, and I tried to pinch them off the dough and roll them, and they tasted okay, but they looked absolutely horrible. They were bad looking. So I learned that I couldn't make them like Mom. I had to do my own thing with them. So I have a couple of other biscuit recipes I use if I don't have the heavy whipping cream. But I've learned that I've got to cut mine out if I want them to look pretty. I can't roll them very good. They're not that pretty. But it took me years to kind of get the ideal. I've got to be my own person on those biscuits. They can't be exactly like Mom's. And sometimes we have to do that. We have to be our own person. It takes a little bit of practice. So if you're making biscuits for the first time, don't get upset if they're not exactly what you think they should be. Just keep trying, keep practicing. You'll get the feel of that dough, and you'll know if it's too wet or if you need to add some more liquid to it. You'll know, you'll find out, you'll get that feel. So just keep practicing. But I'm going to turn you guys around and let you look at the apples and see where the biscuits are right now. It was about 5 minutes before I put the timer on. So I put another 10 minutes on. I put a 10-minute timer on. And I'd say they were in there probably 3 to 5 minutes maybe, I think. Look at those apples. See that apple? It kind of retained its shape, and some apples do. But now these apples, for the most part, they just kind of smooshed up. And personally, this is how I like them. But some people want them whole or a mix. So I've got my burner on low, just keeping them warm. But they're done. As soon as they get soft, then apples are done. I didn't time those either, but you'll know. I mean, you can obviously tell those are done. They're all smooshed up. But if they do retain their shape, just poke a fork through them, and if it goes through very easily, then you'll know those are done. So let's look at the biscuits. Oh, those might be done. Let me check them and see. Okay, biscuits was done. So we're going to say about 10 to 12 minutes. You want them good and brown. And then when you raise the top, do like the middle one. If you don't see any dough, then they're done. If all of that is cooked, then they're done. Okay, and there's the apples. We're going to get us a bowl of that, and I'm going to get Wayne in here. We're going to taste test.
Hey everybody, how we doing? I'm having a slow day. I've been smelling this though from the bedroom. It smells good. Man, that's hot. Woman, that's hot. Just like Mom. Good, aren't you?
Oh no, I'm not trying them.
Not very good. Ma'am, they're good.
So you recommend fried apples and biscuits for supper?
Oh, yes. They'd go good with gravy and biscuit. Fried eggs, too.
It would. We
Yeah.
might have to make that and show everybody how I make my gravy.
They should make good gravy. But remember to subscribe. And if you are subscribed, check and see. We've had some very good subscribers tell us they was unsubscribed. Pray for Pam's family, Pam's brothers, and sister. They need prayer. Send your prayer requests in. Love the comments. Even yours, Vicky.
You always pick on Miss Vicky.
Yeah, I know it.
I think she likes it though.
If I didn't pick on her, she wouldn't have recognized me. But I know you get tired of hearing this, but we love you. We love you guys. And this will be good on a good winter morning. Be good anytime. Be good right now. That's what Tobe says. Well, here, Daddy, let you all taste. Taste for Daddy. Very good. Okay, here, Miss Sammy.
Don't slide Emily. Toby's like, I'll taste test for her.
Don't hurt Daddy's hand. Okay. Daddy got one good hand. You all take care. Be safe. We love you guys. See you next time. Bye. Would you all believe I coached him in Little League? Yeah. You care if I tell him your name? Well, this is Kevin Huff. He played baseball for me a couple of years ago.
A few years ago, right?
It's been a few. They had to be 12 was they had to quit. So that tells you a little bit.
40 some years ago.
He's a good guy.
He was a good coach. We had a lot of fun. We had some good teams.
Hey, we beat a lot of things that we weren't supposed to.
Yeah.
We get invited every year to come watch football at their house and to eat. And Wayne's eating right now.
Second favorite thing.
But we just wanted you to come join us with a football game and introduce Kevin.
Friends.
Yep. We wanted to show you
Oh, that's good.
some flowers. Look at that.
Filled it full of topsoil.
Well, we just I put some Miracle Grow there.
Once they get clean water, I water the flowers every night. The tomato plants get clean water too.
She put one down with a leader.